Happy Friday, everybody. I am Cheri Bant, and this is week 20, living whole food plant-based. Hope you're doing well. I am back for my weekly update. I'm here. I've got my, actually it's not coffee, it's water, but I had to put my plants only mug, plants only, plantsonlyshop.com. I have to check them out. I don't know if you saw, I will start with this actually. But they had asked me to share my story. They reached out to me. I bought some things from them, and they kind of followed me on social media. So if you're not following me on social media, over there on the Instagram or on the Facebook, which you probably are on Facebook, but follow me on Instagram too if you'd like. But anyways, they reached out to me and asked me a little bit if I'd be interested in sharing my story going whole food plant-based, and I did, and they shared it this week on their blog and also on their Facebook page. So I just really appreciate them for asking me to share, and I'm happy to do it. It's been a wild ride, 20 weeks. I can't believe it. 20 weeks. It kind of feels like it hasn't been that long. I don't know, but it seems like 20 weeks seems like a long time already for me. But anyways, 2:31 when I was in the hospital. I'll give you the weight update. As of this AM, this morning, I was 164. So down another couple pounds from last week. So 67 pounds in total I've lost so far. And let's talk about weight for a minute. I decided something. I've been thinking about it all week. I usually get up every morning. I wake up. And I usually have this routine that I get all my things, I go out, I get the scale, I weigh myself, and then, and then I get my lemon water, and usually the dog needs to go out, the new puppy. If you haven't seen the new puppy, you have to watch a few videos back and you can see the new puppy. Or you can always follow me over on personal, Cheri Johnson Bant, I think, on Facebook. You can always reach out to me, friend me there. You can see a lot of the stuff I post on Facebook is public anyways. So even if you're friends with me on Facebook or your family, I still share it with everybody. I don't keep any secrets really. But anyways, the puppy, yes. So usually have my lemon water, and then I used to always then walk. Sometimes I'd walk and then come back, have my lemon water, have breakfast, all of that. But now the routine's kind of changed. But anyway, back to the weight thing. Rabbit trail. I got on a rabbit trail, sorry. I decided, I think I'm going to try this for a while. I wouldn't say I'm scale obsessed, but it is motivating for me when I can, when the weight comes down, I'm like, oh, I lost a little bit more. And it's always shocking. And there, last week, I was losing a lot. And then it went kind of, it does this. It kind of goes up and comes down and goes up and comes down, maybe a pound or two. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start only getting on the scale on Friday mornings. So then I have a weekly update for my weight. And then I'm not seeing that fluctuation. And I think then I'm not focusing on the weight as much. And I'm really happy with how my clothes feel, how my body's feeling, all of that. So I still want to lose more because I'd like to I want to find where my body, it'll settle. It should, with everything I'm learning, it should settle at where it wants to be and kind of stay there. And I'm still working. It's still going down. I'm not obviously going to lose weight until I'm not here, right? But Darren, he's out. He's about 170, I think. He dropped quite a bit of weight too, but he stays right around there between 170, 175, right in there, depending on how many extra blue corn tortilla chips he has, I think, or how much guacamole, or how many things I bake during the week and how much of that. But he eats copious amounts of food and he really doesn't gain any weight. It's kind of staying pretty stable. So anyways, that's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm only going to weigh myself once a week and we'll see how it goes. If I slip and I do it and I have to check, I will let you know next week how, if I didn't make it till Friday to see. So I think getting scale obsessed is a problem, whether you're heavy or you're trying to lose or whatever, because it just kind of sometimes plays with your mind, because it doesn't, I think it's delayed too. I want to, as I'm learning and as I'm kind of seeing how things go, what I did 4 days ago, I think affects my weight today. Does that make sense? I don't know that that's true. Don't know the science there, but I think that might be the case. So So it's like a delayed response. I did get my lifting in 2 times this week though. So I'm pretty proud of that. And I can see, like, I can see some definition more. I've got the flabby arms still here, but my back is, you know, getting stronger. I feel stronger when I lift. So yeah, that went well. And I didn't get I still did my 3 miles every day or more. Today I did my 5-mile walk, got that in this afternoon. I don't always get my morning walk in because of how things go or how the night went, you know, if I'm too tired. But I did walk a few times this week in the morning, in the dark, and I'm getting less scared of that. And I did have some tips. Somebody, I think Lori might have given me a tip about, like, a certain light. Like, I got the headlamp, it still kind of blocks, I talked about this last week when I'm walking, how it blocks my brim of my hat, blocks my feet, and it's kind of weird. It's so disorienting walking when it's, you know, morning and dark, and you have a tendency to look out, like, far from you. I know this sounds silly. So you'd think that if there were sticks or something in the road coming up, you wouldn't trip over them, but you don't see it all. You don't see all the stuff on the road. So she had a tip that it sounds silly, a little silly, but wearing the headlamp around my neck, and I need to try that because then I can, like, point it down at my feet. So yeah, so the last one I can't talk. The last walk that I went on in the morning, and it went really well, actually. I wasn't as afraid. I wasn't scared. I didn't think the monsters were going to get me. Didn't see anybody walking, which was still good, because remember I said I still think it'll be weird if there's somebody else out there walking with me. All right, so walking. Oh, the other thing is, last weekend we went and it's kind of turned into, Darren and I used to do, like, we made a point to have a date night, like, every other week or whatever. No, we should probably do it every week, but we used to do that. And what would we do? We'd go get ribs and beer. We get ribs and beer, not beer. Well, sometimes beers and ribs. And we always had a certain restaurant that we'd go to. It was really good ribs too, by the way. And I don't really miss them, but I miss going out on a date with him, like going out. Kind of miss the beer a little bit. And not that I haven't thought about not drinking. I just haven't done that. I don't know. I'm feeling so good. I haven't had any wine really, or any beer. I know Darren's had a few, but anyways, again, rabbit trails. So what we do now is kind of like a date, is we go and we find a new trail to go walk or go hiking or whatever. And I found on this past Saturday that being an older woman and drinking coffee on the way to the trail, like the hike, was probably not the best idea. This place that we went to was really cool. It's like out in the middle of nowhere. We live in such a great area for doing this kind of stuff. There's a lot of nature preserves and just beautiful scenery around West Michigan here. But I'm appreciating more and more those set aside parcels where you can go for free and just enjoy nature, and it's just wonderful. I love it. I just kind of get high off of it. But anyways, we went on Saturday. We went to a place that had, I think that we were going to do the whole thing, but we didn't. We ended up doing just about 3 miles, I think. But I had to pee, guys. Like, I got halfway through and I had to pee. And you know what I did? I made sure, I always make sure I have, my shirt keeps falling down, that I have tissues in my walking, like my tight pants, as I call them, but my walking pants. So I always have tissues because for whatever reason, when I'm walking a lot, if I get sweaty or I get a runny nose or whatever, from allergies, I always like to have, but it's always good to have a couple extra, because I went to the bathroom in the woods, and it was funny, because I thought if somebody walks up and the old woman is like crouched down, peeing in the woods, I did it. I peed in the woods. And then I was scared that maybe I was going to get, like, because mosquitoes were bad. I'm like, if I get mosquito bites all over my ass, I'm going to be upset. So I think as I did that on Saturday, I realized, I told Darren, I need a fanny pack. Remember the 80s? Like, fanny packs were big. But in hunting, because I used to be a hunter. Kind of funny, right? Now I'm vegan. But always had a fanny pack with all the things in it. Well, I think it's time. I need to find a fanny pack again and maybe have a little thing of toilet paper in if we're going to do much hiking, because I had to pee, and that's something. Or I know they have, like, other women accoutrements for like hiking and things, but I just thought that'd be a funny thing to share. So anyways, there was that. So if you're looking at adding activity, look for, like, I know, and all of my friends and family in Indiana, that's where we used to live, there's a lot of the acres land trusts around there, and those would be great places to go hike and do some walking. Like if you live in a subdivision, you don't want to walk the regular sidewalks, you want to get out in nature. It's so, it's like a de-stressing thing for me. I am really addicted to it. I really am. So anyways, that's a fun thing. And it can be a date too. Take your husband, take your kids, whatever, family event, whatever. So that's a little tip. So I wanted to share the plants. I got my little notes here. That's why I'm looking over here. I wanted to share the walking. Okay, so the rest of what I want to talk about that I have notes on is all about food. Because I haven't talked a lot about food, a little bit here and there. But you can hear my puppy. I don't know if you can hear her. But I think I wanted to share, because this is not, we are, first when I started this, I got the Forks Over Knives meal planner. Still have it. I pay quarterly for that. And they have recipes, and then you can get the grocery list. But I've shared before, we use, between Darren and Allison, my oldest daughter because she lives with us, she helps me with cooking sometimes and things, and just staying organized. And then myself and Darren, we're all on this AnyList, and they also have, in the AnyList app, you can add recipes to it. We use that. I use that for shopping, and we used to always go shopping on Fridays. Well, I'm telling you, I'm sharing. So we, this afternoon, we'd do our once a week shopping trip, and then Darren would pick up any things that we needed throughout the week, where he, from the area he's at, from working, because we live out in the middle of nowhere, so it takes a while to get anywhere. So we now are doing that on Mondays. We switched it because one of my sons is taking piano lessons. So instead of driving multiple times during the week, try to save gas, whatever, we're shifting that. So, but I wanted to share this because I know that I really think, aside from the cooking aspect, which maybe I'll talk about another time, because and maybe if you're someone that's watching this and you're interested in going whole food plant-based, what are the reasons why you wouldn't? My guess is you overwhelm. One, it's so strange from what you're used to, but cooking, you feel intimidated, especially if you're doing no oil, like the way that I'm doing it. So I would think that would be one. I might be wrong here, but I think just getting used to meals, what to eat, and then staying organized, on top of it, because that's how you're successful, right? That's how, with any, you all know that if you don't have your meals planned out, you're more apt to go out to eat because you don't feel like, screwing with putting together a meal because you didn't have a plan, right? So I wanted to just kind of tell you what I do. And I'm not the most organized person, not gonna lie. You'd think with having had 8 children and homeschooling and all the things that I would be extremely organized. I'm a planner, but I'm not always the most organized. I'm the creative chaos kind of person, right? So, okay. But anyways, AnyList is a great thing. We use that. But this is the thing that I've done from the beginning. And this is what I used to do when we planned our meals before we were whole food plant-based. This is, you can't see it. Hold on. Notes app. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Notes app on your iPhone. I don't know if you have Android. I don't know. I'm sure you have a Notes app. But I put in there the meals. This was penne with spinach, mushroom, broccoli, corn, and rice. So we did a thing. No tuna pasta salad, kale and with sauerkraut over baked potatoes. Sounds crazy. I absolutely love it, and it's good to have some fermented foods in your diet. So we did at this time we did a tomato mac, which we haven't done again. Bean burritos, we've done that a few times. Cauliflower with black beans, brown rice. We made a little bowl. So I plan out. Allie and I will talk. I don't really. Darren will give me some input, but most of the time Allie and I talk about what food to plan. I say, okay, these are the things I'm thinking. Some things she likes to do, some things I do. She's my fajita girl. She always has been. Before we cut out the meat, she used to make fajitas for us, and they were always delicious. We just cut out the meat. She still uses the same seasoning. We do usually mushrooms and peppers and onions and seasoned up, bake it out. I love basmati. I'm really into, Aldi has a basmati, I think that's how you say it, brown rice, and I love it. It's a super good texture, and it has some similarities to white rice, but it has it's the whole grain, so it's lots better for you. So we use that for a lot, or sometimes we'll do quinoa, or just regular brown rice. But anyways, I wanted to tell you so we go through, and then I keep this list, and I know you can't see this. I'll try to do it in a way, and it's very long. See, So every week I just go through and I look at what we've done in the past and I'm like, oh, what sounds good? And then I make a list of usually about 5 or 6 meals. I don't do 7 because we usually have leftover days. And then I figure out, then I'll talk to Allie and say, hey, these are what I'm thinking. What do you think? Give her, let her, and I'll ask the kids sometimes. And then I put them in order of how we're going to cook them. Sometimes we change the order of how we're feeling or whatever. But it's really helped a lot. Like just that little bit of planning. And then I do that before I make the grocery list. And then I go through and see what we need. And then I have the staples that I always use. And I wanted to share, and I'll do that in a minute, about a couple of those things. But the other thing I want to share was something I really noticed, even, and I know that this is a thing for everybody. I can't be the only one. Let's say you want to snack on like fresh fruits and vegetables, right? If you get them, cutting them up right away or prepping them right away, like grapes especially. We love having grapes for the kids to snack on, right? And I always get red grapes. I don't get green grapes. I just think that the color is better. So I get red seedless grapes. Sorry, I've got a hair here in my eye. And it's bugging me. I have to get it out of there. But if I don't wash them, or Darren doesn't wash them right away when we get them, and like we keep them, like we wash them and have them available, then it'll just sit there in the bag. Not that it'll rot. We'll eventually eat them, but they won't get eaten as quickly. And the same thing, like a lot of times I'll have cauliflower or broccoli in fresh cut up so that I can throw it into the air fryer, or I can eat it raw. But if I don't clean it right away, then it'll sit in there for a little while. So there is something to be said for, if you want to start some healthy habits, when you buy your fruits and vegetables, prep them right away. Cut them and clean them right away. Put them in bags, put them in containers, whatever, in your fridge, however you usually store them to eat them. And then that way it's all done and ready for you. And if you do that, like it's like all at one time. Now, sometimes I don't want to do, like I'll buy a melon and I want it to ripen, or we buy some pears and we want them to ripen a little bit. But for the most part, if it's something that can be cleaned and eaten right away, so that, like, especially if you have kids, and I know if I have, cleaned veggies, they'll just get in the fridge and they'll start eating them. So just a little tip there. So do it right away. Don't leave it sit, because you'll get busy and you'll forget, and then that's a way for you to waste the product. And especially with the perishables, that I've just really realized that that's how we have to address it, so we don't, stuff doesn't get lost in the fridge and then we forget about it. Okay, so then what else do I have? Oh, my favorites. This was the other thing. Okay, I don't eat a lot of bread. The kids eat lots more bread than I do. But I wanted to share this. I'm a big Aldi shopper, guys. I still go to Meijer and Walmart too, because I can't get everything at Aldi anymore. But I try to get as much as I can because it's less expensive. And I will tell you, I used to be, back in the day when it was just Darren and Haley and Alice and I, so family of 4, even maybe Carson. We were huge Sam shoppers. So when then later, like I know Costco came to Fort Wayne, Indiana, which we never became members of because we were past that at that point. But we were huge Sam shoppers, and I know that we have a large family, right? You would assume that we would go to like Sam's or Costco. Back in the day, we went, Darren and I scoured the stores for what's the least expensive way to purchase things. We found that Aldi was by far, even if we had to buy more of the things, to get the quantities that you'd get at the discount, like the Costco or Sam's Club, the commercial size products, still was cheaper. It was less expensive. And now with Aldi, they have tons of organic options. They have lots of vegan options. They have so many things that they didn't have before. But okay, so this is one of my absolute favorites, and it's the Grain-tastic. It's 21 whole grains and seeds. So bread doesn't have any oil in it. Now, typically I would tell you don't want something with a lot of ingredients, but it's because it's got a laundry list of ingredients, but they're all good. It's all the seeds and the grains that are in the bread. You can get it regular sliced or you can get it thin sliced. I get it thin sliced. So when I have it, I'm not, because I'm still conscious, I try to be, of consuming too many processed, like overly processed things. And this would be, you know, kind of processed, but way better of a choice than getting even whole wheat bread that's not even from a whole grain. But this stuff is just, it's the bee's knees, guys. It's so good. And I just like the thin because I feel like, you know, I can have less is more kind of thing, right? So this last week I've eaten more sandwiches than I have in a while. Obviously didn't really affect my weight too much. And I feel fine. But I have to tell you, I had the most amazing sandwich. It's like so good with this bread, and again, I'll tell you again, because this is one of mine. I love it. I love this thin sliced, grain-tastic, 21 whole grain and seed bread. Okay, so I put on it, I gotta tell you, it sounds a little weird, but I make a homemade roasted red pepper hummus, which now my youngest son even like they devour it here. I make it, eat a little bit of it, don't eat a lot of it usually. I'll have it with like celery, or I'll put it on the bread. Aside from that, I don't eat a ton of it, but they really like it, and it's a really good thing for them to snack on. And the chickpeas are really, you know, they're high in protein, really good for you. But anyways, I've roasted red pepper hummus. I put that on. I toast this bread. So I toast that bread, roasted red pepper hummus, almost like it's a mayo or something. Use that. Then I put on slices of avocado. So it's about a half of avocado that I use. Slice that up, put that on there. Then I put baby kale from Meijer. Meijer's baby kale is so good. It's so yummy. I can just eat it like, ooh, it's so good. It comes in the plastic container. I do get organic baby spinach from Aldi, but Aldi, they only have the bigger organic kale. They don't have the little baby kale. It's so good. So baby kale, roasted red pepper hummus, some avocado, tomatoes, slice up some tomatoes, and what else did I put on it? And cucumbers. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I ate the sandwich and I'm like, I could sell this sandwich. It's so stinking good. So you have to go get those things and make it for yourself because you'll love it. But anyways, I had to share that because this is the thing. And one other thing we had this week that I made for the first time, and I'll share this recipe. It's a forks over knives. I think they call it peanut butter granola bar, but I don't use peanut butter because we have someone in the house, Shelby, one of our daughters, we found that she has a nut problem. So for her, I use sun butter, so sunflower butter. So that's what I use in the granola bars. And then I did put some dairy-free chocolate chips. If you follow me on Instagram, I took a picture of it. So good. I did it 2 mornings in a row. I did it in a little 8x8 pan. So simple to make. So delicious. Like, guys, I would probably gain weight if left to those granola bars because I could eat almost all of them. They were so delicious, so good. But for the kids, I'm starting to find things that are more snack-ish that are way better for them because I know exactly what's in it. You know, it's made with agave and maple syrup as the sweetener, and then use the sun butter, which is a little higher in calories than regular peanut butter, but who cares? Everybody in the house can eat it. Throw a little dairy-free chocolate chips in there, and you're good to go. You could add nuts, and you could add dried fruit to it. It's just so good. I'll share that recipe. I'll find it because I know it's not in the meal planner, but it's on their website. But the reason that I wanted to bring this up is I think a lot of times when we think of like eliminating dairy and eliminating meat, that you're like, what the hell? I'm not going to be satisfied with my food because I'm just going to be eating plants, you know? I'm just going to be eating rice and beans, but it's so satisfying. The food that we eat is delicious. I can honestly tell you, I don't go a night where I'm like, it's so good. The food is good. It's satisfying. And I enjoy it just like I did, if not more than I did when I was eating the animal proteins. So, and then I would feel like shit after I ate those. So now I eat and I can eat a lot and I feel good. And so anyways, I just wanted to share. And that's all I got. That's all I have. So again, if you're already a whole foodie, a whole food plant-based foodie, and you want to get yourself some merch, you got to go to plantsonlyshop.com. And I just want to give them one more shout out and all that they do, and I don't know, just great stuff. And I have to say, guys, if you're at all contemplating this, and you have any questions, I'm always happy to share what we're doing that's working, because it is working for us. And the other thing I will say, I know before I had said, the kids are kind of a hard sell. Few of them haven't had any dairy for quite a long time, so that's huge, and no meat. So it's getting better. They're still on the vegan junk food a little bit because of the transition. But just like the roasted red pepper hummus, and my youngest son, he like devours this stuff, and it just makes me feel good because I know it's good for him, So anyway, thank you for watching. I will be back next week with another update, another accountability update for me. But for you, hopefully this is helpful. And I just want to thank you all for watching. If you have anybody that you think might be interested in learning more about whole food plant-based eating, certainly share this with them. And make sure you share Forks Over Knives. Share that. The link is in the description too, because that is just a game changer. Lots of information. All right, y'all have a blessed one, and I'll see you next week.